Vanderbilt lands a commitment from a dynamic 3-star wide receiver. We'll get into this one. We'll break it all down. Stay tuned.
You are Locked On Vandy, your daily podcast on the Vanderbilt Commodores, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Friday. Welcome into the Locked On Vandy podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Corey Burton. Thanks for making us part of your day, however you're joining us, wherever you're joining us from, however you're listening or viewing. I definitely appreciate you. Definitely if you're an everydayer, part-timer, first-timer, second-timer, full-timer, whatever kind of timer you are, I appreciate it. So on this episode, we're going to break down new 2026 3-star commit wide receiver, Kahden Smith. He's a dynamic receiver that can really be a difference maker in this offense. Just what Vandy needs. What's the impact of this commitment? Also, what kind of receiver room is Kahden Smith walking into? Who's going to be the guy next year and the years to come? Is it going to be Kahden Smith? We'll see. We'll break that all down. And, of course, we're going to wrap the show by discussing the upcoming series against the Vols for the Vandy boys. It will be an intense series and should allow them to play with that chip on their shoulder that they so desperately need to play with. And, of course, they are very dangerous with that chip on their shoulder. So can they put it all together in Knoxville? Well, we're about to find out. This is going to be an interesting series. This is going to tell us a lot about Vandy baseball. So, like I said, thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And this episode is brought to you by the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. You can turn any TV into your Xbox. No console needed. Head to amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to learn more. So we're going to do a little film study here in just a minute because, this is a recruit that I'm very fired up that Vandy was able to get. Now, I talked about this on a previous episode about recruiting at the wide receiver position, whether it's the portal or high school. Like, why does Vandy seem to have so much trouble recruiting these guys? Well, I think a lot of those things are starting to kind of fade away a little bit. And I think you're starting to see a little bit of a shift in the type of receivers that Vandy can get. I think people are noticing now that they can be difference makers in this offense. So there's something happening in Nashville, and I think a lot of it's culture based. I think a lot of it is just, it is these guys feel like they belong. These guys feel very good about where this program is going, what it's going to look like under Clark Lea. Like, there's a lot of things that these commits, that these recruits and some of these transfer portal guys, I think there's a lot that these guys really like. And he said, he said a quote. He said, when I went down to Vandy, I just felt comfortable. I felt at home. Coach Lea, he's a philosopher, and I feel like that's the type of head coach I need to be around. Where they stand is where I'm trying to stand. Their goals are my goals. So he's 6'2", 185 pounds. He's an outside receiver, but he is also a punt returner as well. And they play in a run-heavy offense. So, they the same way that they probably used him at Hillcrest is how I think Vandy's going to use him. And I think he felt very at home. For a lot of people that are still very hard on Clark Lea, you hear these quotes like, you put a microphone in front of a kid, I think I think they end up speaking their mind. I think they end up speaking the truth. You can have all of that. You can have all of that training, all of that. Here's what you should say. All of that. I think you can do that with these kids, but like at some point, they're still kids. They're gonna speak the truth, right? They're not gonna give you some canned answer or some coach speak answer. Like, they're not gonna do that. I think you're going to get genuine answers because they're not seasoned enough to be able to filter themselves to where they can say what they feel like they need to say. And that's a great thing. Like, you kind of, and they're not lying. When they say every visit is great, they're not lying. But like, if you kind of really drill down, you can almost predict where their favorites are based on how far they go. I think that's kind of more the key. But enough breaking down actual quotes. I think what it comes down to is he feels comfortable with the direction of this offense and how they plan on using their receivers, how that position is really just kind of wide open as it stands right now. Like he feels like he can come in and be the guy right away, which it's not a stretch. It could happen to where somebody is, steps up and is, goes above and beyond, but likely Kahden Smith thinks, and watching his film, I think he's not wrong. So this is going to be a very, very good signing for Vanderbilt. I think you're starting to see the caliber of guys that's coming to Vanderbilt, and this is going to be another good one. So you guys want to watch film? Yeah, let's watch film. So here's Kahden Smith. Here's his junior year highlights. These are impressive, right? I watched these and I was thinking, man, phenomenal. So here we go. All right. He's right here at the bottom of the screen running a post route. What I really like about him, he's just smooth, right? And he'll get more polished as a route runner because I think what they're asking him to do is, run simple routes and take advantage of your athleticism. But like the way he kind of catches the ball, the way he kind of operates in space. I mean, he's 6'2", but he looks about 6'5" because he's just so long. He's fast. He can pull away from you. I mean, this guy is just so smooth the way he runs, the way he catches, the way he operates, man, just within this offense. Like I said, it's a run-heavy offense, a lot of play action. But, like, he's got two guys on him right here. And dude, he comes down with it. Like he's going to go up and compete for the ball in the air. This is the type of receiver that if you're going to be a team that runs the ball heavily, this is the type of guy that is going to take the lid off the defense. And this is the type of guy that, can make these circus catches like he did on that clip. This is the type of guy that can push the ball vertically down the field. He's going to go get it, right? And he's not going to play with Diego Pavia, so we don't have to like break that down. But I think the next quarterback that plays with him can know, hey, Kahden Smith is down there somewhere. I'm just going to, hey, I'm going to throw it up there, give him a chance to catch it, and he will come down with it. But here's a punt return. All right, and this. It just highlights his ability to navigate through traffic, breaking tackles. I mean, just look how smooth he gets through there. That's the biggest thing. He just glides, man, and it's just he just lost balance there, and he knows it. But he's just so smooth, man. Just good route running, good ability after the catch, just tough to bring down. Just kind of that alpha guy that you need out there on the perimeter. Here's one of him in a tight bunch. I mean, this is. Again, he's just going to show, hey, I'm down in the red zone. I can make this thing happen. Give it to me on a jet sweep. I'll make it go, right? I can do it all. And this guy's a competitor. It just you can just tell, man. Like this quarterback, he's like, oh, hey, there he is. I don't care that there's three guys around him. He's going to break some tackles. He's going to go, right? And this is the type of receiver this is the type of player they need. Like this guy's kind of an alpha dog. Here's another punt return, right? And I don't know that he's going to necessarily return punts at Vandy. Trey Richardson is going to do that. I think some other guys. There's some other candidates in there, but like he can do it if he needs to. He could return kickoffs probably if you need him to. But like he's so versatile on what he can do. I know we're seeing a lot of like posts and deep digs. You're seeing a very limited route tree here with him, but here he is in scramble drill, just understanding, how to get open for his quarterback. But I think for him to succeed at the next level, he's going to have to run more than slants and posts at the next level. I think he's going to have to expand on that. And I think he will. I don't have any doubt that he won't. It's just something that, hey, if I'm looking for some improvement, like, maybe getting down into the science of route running, because I think a guy that glides like him, if you can really kind of get him, see, that's a great fade route right there, understood all that, and that's kind of the end of the highlight. But like you get a guy that just kind of understands leverage and understands how he can set up defenders better. I think if he continues to hone that craft, he'll be a very dangerous receiver for Vanderbilt. And I think this is going to be he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And, I think this position is growing. And right now we don't know a whole lot about this position group. We don't know a whole lot about the receivers in the room right now because there's some transfer guys that we just don't know much about. Like Trent Hudson, like he has a good rapport with Diego Pavia, but like we don't really know what he's going to bring to the table. Like Joseph McVay, he was kind of beat up in the spring. He's kind of that heir apparent to Quincy Skinner. But like we don't really know much about him. Like, is he going to progress? So Kahden Smith has a chance to come in here really just kind of as a deep threat. He can carve that niche a little bit and just really kind of be that guy. And then as he develops as a route runner, hell, he could be the alpha guy that's going to run the hitch on an RPO or a slant and bust that thing for a big gain. He could be somebody that could run a comeback, a double move, and he could progress to where he's running a more advanced route tree, and he can be in some more advanced combinations that like you can really kind of expand your pass game because you're going to have different types of quarterbacks that come in, and Tim Beck and Jerry Kill, they're not stuck in their ways to where like, hey, if we don't have Diego Pavia, we're going to kind of falter. Like they could make if Diego Pavia somehow goes down, like they could make the offense work with Blaise Berlowitz. They could make it work with Jack Elliott. They could make it work with a pocket passer guy. Like I mean, if they had their preference, yeah, of course they would have Diego Pavia types, but like they could really kind of make it work with anybody. And if they have some game-breaking receivers, like if Kahden Smith comes in and he develops some SEC speed. He kind of develops into a more technical route runner. Like you could see him really pop off as that lead guy. So, but what I'm really curious is like, okay, you get this commitment. Yeah, he's a 3-star. He's not a 5-star. So like, there's no like hoopla around him, but like you watch his film and it's like, okay, this guy is really good. He may not be like, there may be some very small, detailed flaws that separate him from the 5-star guys. Like there might not be a whole lot between him and a 5-star receiver talent-wise, but like you watch his film and you're like, okay, this guy's impressive. Like he's taking over these games. He's really kind of alpha dogging this thing. And so I'm interested to see what his senior year is going to be like next season. And I'm really excited kind of with the development of this, but how does this impact recruiting down the road at this position? What is the shape of the receiver room going to be when he walks in? We'll break all that down next. But first, did you know that when it snows, did you know you can turn any TV into an Xbox console? Did you know that? I bet you didn't. But hell, it can. You can turn your TV into gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required, right? Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Man, it's great. So dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, and Avowed, and as easily as you stream your favorite shows, it's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. So the latest technology for elevated playing, well, you have Wi-Fi 6, 6E, and auto low latency mode, advanced technology, all of that, right? I know I probably just went over your head with all that, but it's really cool. Fire TV Stick 4K delivers smoother, more responsive gameplay with lightning fast speeds you need to stay competitive. That's what all that means. That's what all that technical jargon means. It just means it's smoother, more responsive. And you have endless entertainment too, man. You can stream with watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribe services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. And affordable and portable game planning or gaming, I should say. You can play high quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. And if you already have a console, a Fire TV Stick device is now more affordable and easier to travel with, allowing you to take your or your kids' games wherever you plug in. So it just makes it easy, makes it portable. But you have this little Fire Stick. It's like, looks like a flash drive. So whatever it is you want, whether you're into streaming or gaming or a little bit of both, like me. I kind of dabble in a little bit of gaming. I'm not a hardcore gamer. I just like to play every once in a while just to kind of get my mind off things. And I really like to stream. So this device is going to be really good for me. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller is required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. All right. Thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen each and every day. Thank you to the everydayers, however you got here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your if you listened to the first segment, second segment, if you're going to stick around the whole way, if you're a full-timer, part-timer, whatever. Thank you for making us your first listen. Thanks for stopping by. So if you need a second listen, Locked On SEC. Chris Gordy does a phenomenal job. Stephen Willis, Locked On Ole Miss, he's making his return. So you might want to check him out now. There's a reason why he's the number one watched Ole Miss show. So you might want to check that out before. It's good. It's good. It's worth your time. So, we're talking about wide receiver recruiting. Kahden Smith, 3-star. We did a little film study. Guy's extremely smooth, great route runner. Great playmaker, kind of has that alpha edge to him a little bit. He plays in a run-heavy offense, so his receiving highlights probably aren't going to be as aplenty as some other guys, and he might be a little bit tougher to evaluate. But he's a playmaker. He just makes it happen, and I really like that. So, I think the question now starts to become like, at first, it was kind of like, well, why can't we get a good receiver? Like, we got all these guys out of the portal last year. Like, why can't we get a good receiver? And there's all these reasons why. We run the ball too much, and Pavia can't push it down the field. And, we'll just, we're Vanderbilt, and, whatever excuse you have, all the excuses under the sun, just throw one out there, right? But here's the thing, like, you get LeBron, you get some of these receivers you got the last couple of seasons from high school recruiting. You get Chance Fitzgerald, who was a 4-star coming out of high school, coming out of Nolensville, got a lot of talent, just couldn't really get any opportunity at Virginia Tech, and decided that Blacksburg wasn't the place for him. Maybe he wanted to be more local. Whatever the case may be, he's in Nashville now, and he has a chance to really make some contributions. I don't know that he's going to do it as a starter, but he has some opportunity there. And then you have, Trent Hudson, who has some rapport with Diego Pavia. You have Trey Richardson coming in. He is you could say he's a flyer, but he has a ton of talent, wealth of talent, playing in the slot position, coming from D2. And it's somebody that the staff is familiar with. They tried to recruit him while they were at New Mexico State. And so you have a lot of talented guys. You just don't know what any of them are going to bring to the table because, well, there's just nothing to really kind of base it on. It's all potential. You have Joseph McVay, who flashed, Tristan Brown, who flashed, but like never really put it together. Bosky Barrett, who had a pretty nice spring game, but like you really just don't know what any of these guys are going to do on a consistent basis. So I think depending on where your room is, it's completely reasonable to be skeptical that this room is going to be any sort of productive. And I get it. Like, you can actually say that and nobody thinks you're crazy and, all of that stuff. But at some point that's going to break. All right. At some point that notion's going to go away. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't know how productive this offense needs the receiver group to be. I don't think there's a whole lot of need for them to be extremely productive. I think it'd be nice, but I don't think they're in dire need of it, which I think is another reason that you kind of get maybe a slightly inaccurate evaluation of this group, because you just don't really know what you need from them versus what they're giving you. Like, last year's group was very inconsistent, but like, you won 7 games. Was it enough? I would venture to say it wasn't, but maybe that was the expectation last year from that position. So like we just don't know what their goals are. Now, obviously you want everybody to catch for 1,000 yards and 1,000,000 touchdowns, but like, what's really the goal? The goal of the offense last year, hey, let's control the clock. Let's control the ball. Let's move the chains. Let's keep the ball away. So we're going to have a strong running game. We're going to take some shots downfield, which they successfully hit some of those shots. But if we could just do enough to get a first down, we don't care how we get the first down. Like, I think it seemed like that was the goal, right? It just kind of seemed like, hey, let's get this thing established. Now, I think your goals, based on how they're recruiting, like I think they want to get some more productive guys in there. So like, now there's going to be a little bit more of a premium on route running. Now there's going to, now they need that alpha guy. Now that things are progressing a little bit, they need that dude. They need that receiver that you're going to look at and go, I don't want to cover him. I just don't want to cover him. So that's where this receiving room is. So I think Kahden Smith walks into a room that needs that type of player, that needs that guy that can glide downfield and go catch a long post pattern. Like you need that. And he's walking in at a perfect time because, he could be the guy that comes in and flips the whole thing on its head. Because right now it's like a whole bunch of what if, or like a whole bunch of, it's a whole bunch of I don't know guys, right? Well, Joseph McVay can do this. Well, I don't know. Tristan Brown can do this. Well, I don't know. Or Bosky Barrett, he's this. Well, maybe, right? It's a whole bunch of maybe I don't know guys, right? Maybe he can be good. Maybe Joseph McVay can be good. Maybe Junior Sherrill can be more consistent and can take over as that lead guy. Maybe LeBron Hill can come in and play a lot of snaps. Maybe Trent Hudson will rekindle that connection he had with Diego Pavia and really be productive. Maybe or Chance Fitzgerald's going to be great. He's a local product. Well, I don't know, right? It's a whole lot of that right now. And I think Kahden Smith can erase some of that and come in and really kind of make an immediate impact. That's kind of where I feel that this group is. So it's an interesting group nonetheless. I'm very fascinated by the dynamic of this position group because you have so many of those I don't know maybe guys that it's hard to tell. It's hard to project because like they're basing the 4.5 wins out of the fact that, hey, we got to rebuild offensive line. We're going to be good at running the ball, but like it's really going to be kind of a one-dimensional team with a tough schedule. So it's really not going to play all that well. They're basing that win total off of that because the receiver, like I said, the receiver room is a whole bunch of I don't know maybes. And that's the truth. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't, there's nothing to base it on, right? You could be good. You have the gifts. You have the talent. You have the ability. But you haven't done it for whatever reason. So it turns the answer of, hey, yeah, he can do this, this, and this to, well, I just don't know. And that's, I know that's very unnerving for a lot of fans. And it's got to be unnerving for this coaching staff a little bit, trying to figure out who that guy is. But eventually there will be an answer. And then once there's one answer, it'll be a clear picture. And now I think your recruiting will drive towards that. So anyway, it's going to be, like I said, the term to use with this wide receiver group is fascinating. That's the word. Fascinating. And that's kind of where we're at. So Kahden Smith, welcome. I think he's walking into a very fascinating receiving room when he gets here. So anyway, switching gears to baseball. Baseball's traveling to Knoxville. That's going to be an intense series. I'm fired up for it. You should be too. We'll talk about it next. Have you ever wondered where all your money goes? I know I have, like dining out, entertainment, online shopping, all of that stuff, man. It's very easy to lose track. So that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, all your investments, and spending all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. And there's a lot of surprising insights, man, because, when I started using Monarch, I just realized how much I was spending on food delivery. It tells you that type of information. Now, with that information, I budget smarter and I save more. And all in one convenience, too. That's so good, man. So instead of juggling multiple apps, going from this app or Bank of America to Venmo to PayPal to back to my savings account, back to my, it's all in one place. And you can check your finances, you can track your spending, all that. You can even plan long-term goals. And managing money with your partner is even smoother and smoother than ever. And you can track all shared and personal accounts. You can set goals and stay on the same page without all the stress, which is great. Who loves stress? I don't. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. All right. Thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen. Like I said, we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you to the everydayers, man. This is exciting. You guys make the show what it is. So this weekend's going to be very interesting for baseball. And I know Vandy, it's the sport that everybody loves. It's what everybody wants to see. And this is the rivalry that everybody wants to see. So when two teams make a 3-hour drive, here's the thing, right? When these two teams, they hate each other. Tony Vitello at Tennessee, they play with a chip on their shoulder. They showboat. They do all of that stuff, right? Vandy, this Vandy team has shown that they have a chip on their shoulder. They've shown that they will get upset. They will, against Oklahoma, they nearly had a brawl. They ended up run ruling them. Like, they play well with the chip on their shoulder, and that's what they're going to need. So, they both have 14-10 SEC records. They're vying for very similar goals in hosting a regional and a super regional. They each one of them wants to prove their dominance. Like, hey, Vandy's like, hey, we're Vandy. You're Tennessee. Like, this is our sport. This is not your sport. They want to prove that. And anytime Vanderbilt can beat Tennessee in something, doesn't matter what it is. If you can beat them giving blood, if you can beat them in chess, checkers, underwater basket weaving, football, baseball, basketball, golf, bowling, whatever it is, if that team's wearing orange, you want to beat them. And so that fuels your fire alone. And so this is not to mention you put some stakes on this game. They're playing for stuff. This is where they got to have it. And if Vandy wants to prove that they can go and win in Omaha, you win this series flat out. You win this series. If you want to show your mettle as a postseason juggernaut, you win this series on the road with your backs firmly against the wall. Your backs are already against the wall. They are, because Tennessee's good. They play with a lot of gusto. They have a massive Tostitos on their shoulder. It's a team that showboats. It's a team that's going to talk trash. The fans, they're a factor in Knoxville. Like, this is it. This is a series you win. You have everything going against you. You have a team that hates you. You have a tough environment. You have, you're going to be trash talked all game. Like, everything about this trip is out of your element. You're going to be put to the test. Your focus, your resolve, all of that is going to be pushed to the test. And so, what are they going to do? Well, here's what they're going to do. They can't go in there and pay attention to that environment. They can't go in there and buy into the fact that Tennessee has a lot of swagger, that their fans are tough. It's not an easy place to win. They can't go in there trying to out Tennessee. If they do that, they're going to get slaughtered, hands down. It's going to be ugly if they try to out Tennessee. So what Vandy needs to do, if they want any chance of winning this series, they go in, they pitch the way they've been pitching all year. They hit their spots, let their defense go to work, strike out some guys like Connor Fennell, wrap up the series as the ace. And they need to hit. And honestly, Vanderbilt does need to play with a little bit of chip on their shoulder. Like, they don't need to go full in. Like, I don't think they have to go full, because Tennessee's going to take it to the next level. They always do. But they're going to have to pitch well. They're going to have to go back to, they're going to have to get back to their ways on the mound. And Braden Holcomb, I think Brody Johnston is going to have to grow up a little bit. He's going to have to not play like a freshman. Braden Holcomb is going to have a monster series, and you're going to have to get some contributions from some guys that don't usually contribute. You're going to have to get some more consistent production out of guys like Jonathan Vastine. And RJ Austin. You haven't really heard their names much, but they're going to have to continue to produce. Like, there is no slumps this week. It's laser focus. You're pissed off. You're offended that anybody can suggest that Tennessee can hang with you, which, I mean, Tennessee's a good team, but like, you have to believe that, hey, we're good. This is not going to happen. So I think Tennessee's in a position right now also, and you have to take advantage of this, where they're not really sure what they have. They just don't understand. It's almost like they don't understand who they are. It's almost like they're trying to figure out who they are sometimes, and you're trying to kind of figure that out. You're trying to kind of navigate that, and that can get kind of tricky. That can get kind of distracting. So for Vandy, just play your game, man. Like, it's as simple as that. Just play your game. You should be fine. You'll probably lose game one, right? It'll happen because Tennessee's fired up. But you come back and win game two, and you come back and win game three, I think that sets you up for a good postseason run, because I think if you can win with all of those factors going against you, you can win in postseason play. So anyway, that's all I got. Hopefully this series goes well. Looking for a 2-1 series win. Sweep would be nice, but it's going to be a tough series. Don't fall into that trap. Play your game. Play with a chip, obviously, but play within your bounds. Don't try to play Tennessee baseball. Play Vanderbilt baseball, because I think Tennessee is good about lulling teams into trying to play their style of baseball, and teams get wrapped up into trying to, stick it to Tennessee, that they end up screwing themselves. So anyway, well, that's all I got. Hope you guys have a great weekend. If you're making the trip out to Knoxville, be careful. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you like what you're listening to here, I appreciate all of you for stopping by, whoever you are, and we'll see you back here next week on the Locked On Vandy podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Anchor down. Peace.